Marius. I'm not finished with this war.
Celine's blood is the key. You will be invincible.
As the Lycans grow stronger, I fear more blood will be spilled than ever before.
Welcome to Red Reviews. It is 2017. We got a whole year of movie reviews to do, so let's get right into it. We are starting off 2017 with Underworld Blood Wars, the 5th entry into the Underworld franchise, the one about vampires and werewolves, the one where they're not battling over Kristen Stewart. This is the one where, really, through centuries, vampires and werewolves, or they call them Lycans in this series, have been at war with each other. Now, by the 5th entry, you probably already know if you're going to watch this movie or not, despite what I say in this review. When you come to 5 deep in a series, you're either going to be like, yes, I'm on board with this series, or no, I don't think this series is for me, and I stopped at the first one. So, like, at this point, you know if you're going to watch this movie. Whether it's in theaters, whether it's down the line when it comes out to rent, whether it's in the bargain bin, you already know, but we're going to get into it anyways. So Celine, Kate Beckinsale, is back playing the Death Dealer, who hunts the Lycans down, but this time it seems that Celine is the one being hunted down because everybody wants to know where her daughter is. If you remember in the last one, Underworld Awakening, we found out that she had a daughter. But where is the daughter? Well, the story really doesn't care where the daughter is, so Celine doesn't know. She told him, you need to run off, you need to hide, don't tell me where you're going. Therefore, when they're questioning me, I can't tell them where you are because I don't know. Which is, I guess, a story device to be like, hey, we didn't want to address the daughter in this one, so just have her be gone, but address her with that one little line. So she really does spark the Blood Wars, is that's the blood that they're after. But unlike Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens, where the whole story is trying to find Luke. Where is Luke? We need to get Luke. The daughter is so much of an afterthought in this one that it really doesn't matter. Anyway, David returns, also from Underworld Awakening. So they kind of team up. They're kind of the people we're going to follow throughout this movie. So in this one, the vampires are very much losing the war against the Lycans, and there's this grand plan by Samira, who is sort of running the coven of the vampires, that at this point our only option is to bring Celine back to the coven that she's disgraced because they're still mad about that Victor thing from the first one. Victor was an elder that Kate Beckinsale Celine actually killed, and they still kind of have a little bit of a grudge against her for that. But say, let's put all that aside. We'll bring her back. She's the best at what she does. Have him train the new generation of death dealers to help us fight the war against the Lycans. So they end up doing that. They actually convince her to come back, and all seems well until we find out it's all a grand plan by Samira to actually frame Celine for killing some more vampires, some more death dealers, saying that they do not need her to train these. That's not why she's here. She's after ultimate power. It's a power struggle, basically, in this movie, with a lot of backstabbing and a lot of twists and turns of people doing one thing against another person to one-up somebody else, and nobody's on anybody's side. But anyway, Samira wants to be the ultimate powerful vampire. And of course, we see in Underworld Evolution, the second one, that Kate Beckinsale, Celine's character, has a little bit of immortality. She bites an immortal so she can actually walk in the sunlight. So that's also a factor of why Samira wants her blood, in addition to Celine's daughter's blood, who is the first, or the purest hybrid between the Lycans and the vampires. I know, this is what happens when you're 5 deep in a movie series when it comes to explaining the plot. But don't worry about explaining the plot in this one because they recycle so much footage from the other ones that I've never seen it. In recent history, or as far as back as I can't remember a movie that actually used as much footage from the previous movies in this one. Because when a vampire bites someone, they can see memories through the blood. So, but they use it at some points in this movie for no particular reason at all. And of course, the movie starts out with a fun little recap of all the past movies. So they're getting so much good use out of old previous footage. It has to make up at least 6, 7, even upwards of 10 minutes of this movie is flashbacks of other movies. Crap I've already seen. So don't do that. I've already seen it. And if you're 5 deep in this series, we've got it. We know the story. Nobody's coming in to be like, oh, it'd be really nice to know what happened in the last 4 movies. Well, you should have watched the last 4 movies before coming into this one. That's on you. But anyway, strike against it for that. Don't use old recycled footage. I've already seen it. It's a lazy storytelling device. They just need to pad the runtime. So anyway, Marcus is the new, sorry, not Marcus. He was in the second one. And all these names get rather confusing throughout the series. Marius, the new leader of the Lycans, has done a really good job of sort of rallying all the troops together, unlike anything that's been done in the past. So he's sort of the new baddie, in addition to Samira. So there's now enemies on both sides. So after Selene has sort of been, they stood up as the person who has killed these death dealers, and now they're on the run. Her and David are on the run. So we need to go off and meet Nordic vampires, which, for the most part, is the reason this movie exists, is we can introduce Nordic vampires with white hair, so ultimately we can have Selene get a little bit of white hair that we see in the trailers. And they also have this power where they can, like, move like the wind does, like sort of almost witchcraft. I don't know. And it was at this point in the movie where I remembered that the word wars was in the title, and the movie was certainly lacking on action. The little action we did get when we see the Lycans, the CG looks awful. It's probably the worst in the series. The action is edited together like most poor action movies was. I couldn't tell what was going on. So the action sequences weren't very well done. The CG wasn't very well done. So we get a sort of a battle there at the Nordic station of the Coven, and then Selene gets killed by Marius. But of course, once again, I don't know why they keep killing these characters off in these movies. Like the audience is going to buy it, like, oh my god, I can't believe Selene's finally dead. 5 movies, if you don't count the third one, which she's not in. 5 movies in, I can't believe they finally killed. Except we know you don't kill your cash cow, so she's not going to die. So she does come back at the end. Finally, at the end of the movie, we do get an actual war. We actually see a battle between Lycans and vampires. Finally, the Blood Wars happens, 90 minutes into the damn movie. So we get finally Selene and Marius' final confrontation. We also get David versus Samira. And spoiler alert at the end, it seems that Marius is really like drinking the blood of Scott Speedman's character, the hybrid, Michael. Michael was his name in the series. He's the first ever hybrid. He's captured him after he escaped an awakening. Once again, Scott Speedman, he didn't want to come back for Underworld Awakening. And ain't going to come back for Underworld Blood Wars, so they need a way to write him off. So we'll just have the Marius be the one who killed him. And how do they do that? In one of those flashes that they do when they drink blood at the end, for some reason, that Selene bites herself for no reason other than we need to recycle some more footage. That's it. That's it. There's no reason. Why would you bite yourself? You can't feed off yourself, so I don't know what she was doing. So that's, in essence, that is Underworld Blood Wars. I'm going to change up my rating system a little for the new year. I got tired of ABC because I feel like that's rather boring. So I'm just going to tell you what the fate of this movie has amongst this collection, and whether you should see it in theaters. If, like I said, you're going to see this movie, if you're going to see this movie, you've already made up your mind that I'm going to go watch this movie. I'm an Underworld fan. I've seen all the rest of them, so I'm going to go watch this movie. If you're not an Underworld fan, you're not going to watch this movie. If you start with the first 2, and if you really want to delve into the mythology, keep going. The third one takes place hundreds of years even before Selene arrives on the scene. It's how the war all starts. So start at the beginning, and then if you're intrigued and want to learn more, then you can continue down the series. But if you're like, oh, I've seen 1 or 2, I wouldn't mind catching up on this, wait for it to come out to rent. Just rent it, don't buy it. If you need to buy it, bargain bin it. So that's how I'm going to start rating things, is the fate of how it's going to end up in my collection. So at this point, I'm going to call it straight to DVD. Perhaps, like I said, we're right there at the cusp of ending up on Sci-Fi Channel, or right after Sharknado. So that's my review of Underworld Blood Wars. It's still early in the year. It's only our first movie. I'm anxious to see where 2017 brings us with all these movies for the good and the bad and the big blockbusters that'll disappoint and the hidden gems in the rough. So stick with me through 2017. And I'll catch you guys next time right here on Red Reviews.